In addition to those capabilities that we've introduced and some enhancements that we've introduced within the payment of invoices, we now have enhanced and provide capabilities around notifications and payment options to customers that once invoices are coming due. Now, we have a series of batch reports that, again, we provide you that you would configure based on rules and how you want to notify your customers and how you want to pass the information to the customer so that they can make payment. You would set up the UBEs. You can set them up in your scheduler, however it is that you want to do that. And obviously, like every other batch report within JD Edwards, you configure the specific processing rules that apply to that process. So how far out into the future do I want to look at invoices that are due and want to warn or notify customers that those invoices are coming due? How long will that email, that encrypted email last before it expires so I can resend another one? So if I want to inform them every 5 days that invoices are due and a payment is pending, and I want to look out 15 days into the future, I would set this to 5, and every 5 days a new email would be sent. And this UBE would just run, and it knows and keeps track. And on the 6th day, okay, well, that last one expired, here's a new reminder, and so on. So use configure this. You also configure who receives these emails. I apologize, I meant to show you that in the previous screen. Let me just go back here a second. But you also configure here who received these emails. That's configured through, again, the who's who. We get the email from the who's who code type. So if you have multiple customers within your customer's organization you want to notify, you just assign a specific who's who code, whatever it is that is, and just separate it by a comma so that each of those who's who records would then receive an email of notification. So once that is all configured, then you can go ahead and run your processes to process these payments out to customers. So we're going to go ahead and do that so we can see an example of that now. And for this process, I'm going to go ahead and select a specific customer that I'm working with to not mess up any of the other data that I have out there. So we're just going to select a specific customer. If you bear with me 1 second here, I'm going to let's see, address book. Customer number 3333. And I am going to ignore certain document types in order to make sure that I don't mess up some other examples that I want to do. So we'll just put here some specific document types. Okay. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and execute this. And it should look out 15 days into the future. Obviously, in your environment, you would configure it and set it up in your scheduler. However often you want to run this, maybe once a day, in the evening, every few days, however it is. A report will be generated letting you know exactly what has been selected, so that you can auto review it and make sure that it looks good to you. Here is the report. here is the customer, here are the various invoices that were selected, and what amount has been selected. So by doing that, then the customer will receive an email just like this one, where it's telling them the number of invoices selected, the date of the closest due date, the amount, and from here, just like you saw with the authorized by email, the user would then click on the email that they've selected, and they would see a listing of all of the invoices that are pending payment. Now, depending on configuration, you can force them to select all invoices, or you can allow them to select only those that they desire to pay. So this is notifying the user that certain invoices are obviously coming due, gives them the due date, gives them the invoice date. It would go through. These are already past due, so they haven't been paid on. These are coming due. They would then select those, continue. Again, based on configuration, I can apply the full amount or allow them to partially pay that, and then they would go through and select how do they want to pay for these. And it's here that, again, you can configure different payment options. You can allow them to pay with their PayPal account. If you have a corporate PayPal account to process PayPal payments through, they can charge a credit card. They can pay with an ACH transfer, whatever it is that they want to use in order to make payment for these invoices. Just like we saw earlier, this is a customer that does have surcharges, and we've configured that. So a surcharge would be applied to this payment. And a customer would go through and enter in their credit card information to make payment for these invoices, putting in their expiration and validation of information, and they would go ahead and click on verify. So all of it is now processed, and I can go ahead and pay. And if I, as a user, want to try to pay more invoices, it basically says you have nothing pending, and I receive a confirmation, just like we saw with the authorized by email, of the payment, how much was charged, surcharges, total amount, and a list of the invoices paid. So this process is mainly here to help you, the customer, specifically with notifying your customer base when invoices are coming due. This allows you to set up scheduling of information and notify them so that you can go through and collect on those charges and retrieve and continuously warn and notify your customers that invoices are coming due in order to process those payments as quickly as possible. Now, obviously, just like with our authorized by email capabilities, the pay invoice by email, we need to retrieve those payments back from the Pay Cloud and process them back into JD Edwards. And you can schedule this again every 15 minutes, every hour, or once a day, however often you want to pull back those payments and process them.